The member from Nickelville.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is for the Premier.
Nurses, many of them are here with us, devote their lives to providing great care. That care is based on needs, not on ability to pay. Nurses are strong advocates for the determinants of health. They know that better incomes means better health. That's why nurses, like New Democrat, support a $15 an hour minimum wage. So why is the Premier refusing to support a $15 an hour minimum wage when all of the nurses are telling her it's the right thing to do?
Mr. Speaker, I know the Minister of Labour is going to want to comment on our strategy around minimum wage and the work that we have done in that area. But I want to just say to the member opposite that this morning when I spoke to RNAO, I made that exact point, that they have been partners in guiding us in health care, in the evolution of the healthcare system, Mr. Speaker, but they have also been strong advocates in advocating for strong determinants of health, Mr. Speaker. They understand very well that housing and that child care and that decent wage and lack of precarious work, that all of those things feed into healthy outcomes, Mr. Speaker. We appreciate their advocacy. We appreciate working with them on the health care issues, Mr. Speaker, but also on those important social justice issues as well, Mr. Speaker.
Speaker, everyday nurses see the impact of poverty and low wages on the patient's health. Poverty is the #1 determinant of health in Ontario. People cannot live healthy lives when they cannot afford nutritious food, when they're working 2 or 3 part-time, low-paying jobs that still can't make ends meet. Under this government, nearly 1 in 10 workers is taking home a minimum wage that leaves them on the edge of poverty or below. We have to raise the minimum wage to improve the health of the most vulnerable workers of this province. When will this Premier start listening to all of the nurses that came here today and many more that are here to tell you and finally support a $15 minimum wage in Ontario?
Question. Thank you.
Minister of Labour.
Minister of Labour.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to thank the member for that question. I think you've got a government on this side of the House that I think has been working very hard to make sure that minimum wage is tied to the rate of inflation. Between 1996 and 2003, the minimum wage was frozen. It was frozen at $6.85. Since taking office in 2003, Speaker, we have raised that 9 times, Speaker. 9 times since 2003, and we've made those changes based on the advice of a group we got together. We had poverty advocates, we had organized labour, we had business. They wanted predictability, Speaker, and they wanted to make sure it was fair.
Finish, please.
Thank you, Speaker. And when we held those hearings, Speaker, a lot of people came to the table, a lot of advice from the people of Ontario, a lot of advice from business, from organized labour. Who didn't we get advice from, Speaker? Who made absolutely no submission to that panel? The New Democratic Party, Speaker.